Making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
The time is now. I had enough cheese with all my wine yesterday. I got it out of my system. The frustration, the seismic shift in college athletics. Woe is us. The game is changing forever. The time is now. The one thing we have in front of us is a college football schedule. And hopefully soon, a college basketball schedule that we'll know the non-conference states for. But the time is now. Go out there and get the job done, because what has changed? Well, the reality of it, maybe not as much as we thought in college athletics in terms of the life we live in the Mountain West, in terms of the life we live following the University of New Mexico or New Mexico State athletics. So you know what? Go get the job done. I am full. I am stuffed. I am wined out about the college realignment story. Because right now, you just have to deal with it. And how do you deal with it? Go out on a good note. Go handle your business. Because the one thing for the Mountain West Conference, it was dished a dose of reality for teams like San Diego State, because they are still in the conference, is right now, winning, well, all you can do is that for your fans. Get the enjoyment back. Get your fan bases caring about your product. Because in terms of the big dogs reaching out, well, the Big 12 says right now they're done. Big 10's added who they want. Guess it could be the ACC if Florida State and Clemson leave, but how much money will be there moving forward? Just go out there and play the game. And I think as fans, as we discuss that story, looking at the future, let's just look at what's in front of us. And it's opportunity. It's impassioning your fan base. It's making a bowl game. Those are the things you can do right now. Those are the things that are in front of the teams in the Mountain West Conference. Good Tuesday, everyone. What it do? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC with you. And for the Mountain West Conference, there's opportunities. And it starts off right away. Look at the non-conference schedule this season when it comes to Mountain West football. There's plenty of crossover. And we've been joking about Oregon State and Washington State. Well, the Mountain West, they're going to have opportunities to face those teams. Boise State going at Washington week 1. And of course, Washington soon to be a Big 10 member, but the Broncos on the road. And then they get UCF. That's a Big 12 team now. Colorado State hosting Washington State. Fresno State at Arizona State. Hawaii hosting Stanford, and then going to Oregon State. These are the games that always matter, but there's a little bit more of an edge, especially when you're looking at was Washington State and Oregon State. Could they become members of the Mountain West Conference? I know sources have been discussing amongst the Mountain West dissolving and taking on the Pac-12 banner. Right now, there is no power conference on the West Coast. And there's not just a, hey, let's step in to wearing a Pac-12 coat and get the same money and get the same access to the college football playoff. So what can you do? Go win those games. You know, DC, I think I went through the roller coaster ride all weekend long because we're not naive. Like, if you cover college athletics, you've been in college athletics, you know the gap, the television money everyone is working with. But it just kind of felt like the first real slap in the face where no one is even trying to pretend that, hey, this is Division I football. It's all about student athletes. It was just, nope, here's my bag. I'm going to get it. So I went through that. Now, all right, 3 weeks from now, there's college football games. Go get it done. Go give your fan base something.
Yeah, this last weekend was all about the business. And for me, outside looking in, I kind of, it did seem like NCAA football or sports in general is kind of separated into this like almost pro category and then everyone else. So yeah, for you guys, being in it, I can only imagine what that was like, because it seemed like every 30 minutes there was something popping up that was big news.
Yeah, Friday morning we went from Pac-12 was getting together to sign their new deal and move forward with Apple to, hold up. Oregon and Washington are actually talking with the Big Ten. Oh, here's another push from the Pac-12. And then it was over. And everything we went through live on the air Friday morning, that's exactly what these Pac-12 presidents and ADs went through, as you're starting to get the other side to it, the schools that were left behind, pretty much just Washington State and Oregon State, because we'll touch on Cal and Stanford, who surprisingly seem to have a lot of power, but yet all those schools together, no one wanted to pay. But if those schools are somewhere else, they're willing to pay them.
Reading about the ACC's interest is very interesting. Like, why the Atlantic coast? Why are you on the Pacific coast? That just doesn't make sense to me.
But Washington State President Kirk Schultz, he put out a letter yesterday to Cougar Nation, and he said it was Washington, Oregon joining the Big Ten that sealed the fate of the Pac-12, which we know that, but he said it was shocking in the moment when they announced their intent to leave, because they did get together to sign that deal with Apple. Now, maybe they didn't love it, but it was there, and they found out that at the last minute, mostly due to a rapidly changing sports media environment, that Oregon and Washington were out. But he's also noted in that note, did Washington State, that they have been in constant conversation with multiple athletic directors and other conferences across the nation. And here's the thing with Oregon State and Washington State to the Mountain West Conference, if that were to happen. It's just more about having teams if something else occurs. If a San Diego State goes somewhere, if a Fresno State, if a Boise State, you're playing that what-if game. Because adding Oregon State and Washington State is not taking you from $5 million per year TV money rights deal to $20 million. But maybe when you renegotiate in 3 years, if you're the Mountain West Conference, you can get $6-7 million per school. Like, that's just the reality of it. So with that being said, that's why now let's turn the focus to the schedule, turn the focus to the games, give your fans an opportunity. And it is really interesting the amount of games against those schools specifically that the Mountain West play. Like, Colorado State hosts Washington State September 2nd to open the season. I mentioned Hawaii is at Oregon, but they get a chance at Stanford, which is a very interesting game now with Stanford looking at their fate. Nevada at USC. I don't see much there, but then, of course, the Aztecs get UCLA and Oregon State. San Jose State gets USC and Oregon State. So there's a little bit of crossover, and it's an opportunity to show who you are, but there's a little bit more intrigue in those Washington State and Oregon State games, potentially just because they could be future members of the Mountain West Conference. And you mentioned how weird it is with Stanford and Cal to the ACC. At this point in time, we know that you're going to have to get on a plane and go somewhere. And you're sending your athletic teams all over the place. But the one for me is if the Pac-12, when they did have Cal, Stanford, Oregon, and Washington, could not secure a deal that had a linear, and by linear, a presence on ESPN, Fox, or CBS Sports in it with those schools, how is Cal and Stanford going to make Florida State and Clemson happy in the ACC in terms of ESPN then saying, hey, we're going to add money to your deal because you have those two schools now?
Yeah, and I mean, what if Florida State leaves too? Yeah. That's still in the air. So there's just so many variables that you're right. Like how could they what do they really bring to the table is what I'm wondering.
And the word that was been used is their academic standing. That's gotten them so far now in the world of college athletics.
Stanford just offsets Florida State, I guess.
The academic standing. No one cares about academics.
No.
Right now, the presidents want to. They still want to try to play this game, but we just watched so many presidents sign off
kids
on a world that has nothing to do about academic standings.
Think about this. I mean, just college football 10 years ago versus now. Kids are getting paid. They have deals with major brands. Like, this is pro sports light, it almost feels like.
And it is one where we're in it. I'm trying to be glass half full today. I want to get a little positivity back in my life. But the one thing is, at what point does this college football, it is just the semi-pro league for college athletics?
It happens when the
like
NFL...
It's happening right now. That's where the NFL gets their talent pool from.
Yeah, and they force kids to play there before they can go to the NFL. So, it's interesting how they've leveraged themselves in this whole situation, because the NFL benefits a great deal by this whole shifting of the NCAA.
Power games, as so many are saying, well, it's great for college athletics because it's more good football, it's more this or that. No, it's just the talking heads at the highest level who don't acknowledge the whole sport. They just look at a microcosm of it and think nothing else can exist because they're just not getting Michigan, USC every single week. But the games we do get, it's opportunity. And I don't think that any school in the Mountain West Conference can do anything crazy to get their way into a power conference, because all those moves that were made, as of now, you always got to say there's a chance, because you can't believe what anyone is saying. You can't believe what your fellow conference school is doing. If the Big 12 says they're done, but who knows if Florida State pops on the market, someone grabs them, and then there's one more dramatic shift. Just go play the game. Go win some games, an opportunity. Get some of that passion, some of that excitement back in your fan base. The Mountain West, they didn't lose in this.
No.
They stayed the same.
No, they probably benefit from this, actually. Being able to stay intact while everyone else is getting ripped apart, that is actually a very positive sign.
And it's an opportunity. Well, I know Oregon and Washington, USC, UCLA, they still exist. But it's such a different feel that they exist within a Midwest conference. They exist within that East Coast landscape, which for them is a huge boon, because we do have that battle in sport where west of the Mississippi River, there's so many people like, what's going on over there? There's games kicking off at night. Oh my goodness, how can they do that? So go handle your business. Go win some of those games, and there's some really interesting non-conference matchups for the Mountain West Conference to pick off some power conference schools, and maybe even a few where you beat a future member of the Mountain West Conference. 505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animal Hotline, also the Sports Animal text line. This morning, coming up at 8 a.m., Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, is going to join us. We're going to talk college athletics in regards to what he's hearing from the coaches he's talking with, how he sees the landscape shifting. And really, the main point in all this, if it hasn't really changed anything for football, as long as basketball stays the same, was this just a whole lot of nothing for the teams in the Mountain West Conference, or was this something to be aware of? Because that is the one caveat in all of this. If it starts affecting your basketball, then we have a problem. 505-246-0610 is the number for you to interact with us this morning. Coming up next, speaking of basketball, the dates are set. The rivalry is back on, and how do you feel about it? It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Makes a little sports analysis.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say, people mean more.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The games are back on. We knew that was going to happen, but now it's official. The contracts are signed. Lobos, Aggies back on the basketball court. The 2-game rivalry series continues this season, and the games need to be played. It's one that matters. It's a day that's popping, whether it's on the football field or especially on the basketball court, and it makes sense. A home-and-home series. No, it's not as traditional as the other conferences, but it is traditional. It is what we do in New Mexico. The Lobos and Aggies play a home-and-home. Makes sense. Albuquerque, Las Cruces, the rivalry. And I think even with the way fans are popping off on social media, taking their shots, poking the bear, it's going to be fine. But the schools did the right thing. Eddie Nunez, Mario Mocha, the athletic directors of the programs, just making sure that they have dotted the I's, crossed the T's, covered their bases in this. Because the last thing you want is one knucklehead, one doo-doo bird to go out there and destroy everything, and then you be accused of, hey, did you see what happened last year? Did you see why these games were canceled? What occurred at a football game? What occurred on campus at the University of New Mexico regarding athletes? And you didn't do what you needed to do to cover your bases. It took some time, got the paperwork, you got the plans, you're going to have the security, and I was focused on the basketball. Focus on the rivalry, having some fun watching these two teams play. It's the opening drive here on The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC with you this morning. Of course, also catch the show on ProView Network, streaming online or Comcast Channel 26. So the dates for the two men's basketball games will be played Saturday, December 2nd in the Pit, and Friday, December 15th down in the Pan Am Center. I know one of the dates that was floated out there was December 16th, but good job moving that date because December 16th is
break, right?
The New Mexico Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And we have seen the Lobos play big-time games in the past. One day, Mr. DC, the New Mexico Bowl was occurring when Lobo men's basketball was hosting Arizona.
It's a big day.
It's a big day, but at that point, it's a little crazy getting in and out.
Yeah, I was going to say, where do you park?
So, good job. It's a Friday night in Las Cruces. Friday basketball, still a lot of fun, still an opportunity. And if you get off a little bit early, you can make the trip down there. Get away from the New Mexico Bowl. Solid deal. 2 dates. Let's go.
So paint the picture for me. What is it going to be like on the 2nd of December? If I'm going there for the first time, what do I expect?
You're going to experience a classic college basketball environment. Like, you're going to walk in that building, and you're going to be like, wow. There's going to be 10,000 people there.
Is that capacity?
It's not. What is capacity now, y'all? I'm in that building all the time, and I forget. I think it's like 12-something. It used to be 15,000. They renovated it. They put some suites up top.
Nice.
Seating, so it goes down. But it's going to be double-digit crowd. 10+ thousand people in there. You get your crimson sprinkled in.
Do they separate state versus you?
No.
It's all
get your tickets when you can. You push,
nice.
All the season ticket holders filter in the student section who came back last year, and it looked really good. They put in a lot of work.
Where is the student section?
The student section is the visitors bench. It is on the end zone side. It's like half of it. The student section goes up, and then the band is right behind them.
Nice.
So it's not, the one thing about the Pit, which, the atmosphere comes from the fans, and it really always has come from the fans. It's not like, your Cameron Crazies, something like that, or even, Fog Island Fieldhouse, where it's just this massive body of students. Like, this fan base is great here in the state of New Mexico for their basketball teams. But so the students are coming back, and you are noticing that because there's been a big push on campus and the Hellraisers, to kind of rebuild the student section. But you're going to walk in and go, okay, like this is what it's about. Have you ever been to a game at the Pit?
No, I have not. That's why this is also very interesting to me, because I've been to a lot of venues, and I've heard great things about the Pit. I really have. So I love that feel when you walk in and you get the energy and you see the rivalry. And
if that ends up being your first game, like if you don't go to one of the non-conference games before it, you're going to be like, okay, I get it now.
I think I'll probably wait for that, because that's what I want. I want to be amazed.
Yeah, you're going to walk in. It's going to be loud. There's going to be people everywhere. Like, oh, this is what college athletics is all about when it comes to a rivalry game.
Nice.
Like it will knock your socks off, because the Lobos, they're going to be good. The Aggies, I think they're going to be competitive, man. Even with a complete roster turnover, we know that even in this day and age, you can do that because of the transfer portal. You're bringing in experienced players. It's a series that Lobo fan feels that they should sweep this year. Of course, with the roster they're bringing back being ahead of where the Aggies are, of course, in their rebuild and retool. And you know what? And it's going to be the back and forth, because that week leading up to that game, both fan bases, they're going to be bringing up the dirt, whether you want to listen to it or not.
So I need to stay close to the dump button.
Yeah, they're going to be going at each other with everything that happened last year to have those games canceled. But if that is your first game, you're going to be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, December 2. I'm going to mark that one.
Yeah. So it's December 2nd in the Pit, Friday, December 15th in Las Cruces. So they move off a Saturday. We're going to play the 16th. But with and people are going, wait, that shouldn't affect the New Mexico Bowl if it's in Las Cruces. What are you talking about? Aggies are holding out hope they're going to be playing in the New Mexico Bowl because they have an affiliation with Conference USA, so they moved it to the 15th in case Aggie football becomes bowl eligible and then we're to be invited. So that's the move that New Mexico State did. Now, the women's teams, they'll play once. This year, they usually play twice. They're only playing once. That game will be also December 2nd, but earlier in the day, so it's not a traditional doubleheader because you got to clear out, you got all the season tickets, but it's going to be a big day of basketball. Saturday, December 2nd, the Lobo men and women playing New Mexico State. And yeah, if that's your first game, it's going to be a lot of fun.
To tell you the truth, you and I have both called female basketball games, and I'm kind of excited to see that one too. Is that a rivalry as well, or is it not as intense?
Oh, it's not as intense. It's not. And the one thing for New Mexico State is they have been the nail in that rivalry for a long time. But last year, the New Mexico State women's basketball team, they beat the Lobos down in Las Cruces. They were a much more competitive basketball game. So it's going to be a lot better contest now, but it's not.
The fans are there for the later game.
Yes.
Okay.
Fair
enough.
For that game, probably 4,000 or 5,000 in the day.
But that's a good pull for a midday game.
And then you're getting the Lobos start the season well. The fact that everything that the fan bases went through last year, the athletic departments, it's going to be a sellout.
Nice.
December 2nd.
So are you on the call?
Women's basketball.
Nice.
Be out there calling them, as far as I know. Who knows with college athletics and who they're calling and who's in the transfer portal.
Things can clearly change quickly with college athletics.
Yeah. But that's going to be an awesome day. And how about that? Mark it on your calendar. DC's first time watching the game in the Pit. And what a game it's going to be. Lobos, Aggies, December 2nd. 505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animal hotline. Also, the Sports Animal text line this morning. Coming up at 8 o'clock, Jeff Grammer from the Albuquerque Journal is going to join us. We're talking some hoops, college athletics, season right around the corner, and just get his thoughts as he's been talking to coaches and he's followed this. How does he feel? Did he think that this was, just more of the same? You end up playing the same game you've always been playing, or was this a step in a split or a shift in college football, breaking away in terms of really going semi-pro for football, letting everyone else kind of filter back in, settle down where they were before, and go from there? But the Sports Animal is also your home for the NFL. Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football, preseason week 1 is here. And as Dallas is talking about timing is going to be the difference. If your best offensive lineman isn't there and the owner is saying these things, it could throw off what could be a really good season for the Cowboys. That's next here on the Sports Animal.
This message is brought to you by the New Mexico Department of Game.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hyman is on the wrong side of the team owner. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC with you this morning. A little T-Swift action for Mr. Symbieta this week. Hopefully he brings back his daughter a T-shirt. No, they went together. But he is back on Thursday. And, man, of all the stuff that's running around my head, missing out on the pit attendance numbers, it's now 15-4. Appreciate the caller for reminding me of that one. But all the things I forget that I should know. For the Dallas Cowboys, or the emphasis on this camp, it's been the footwork of Dak Prescott. It's been getting the wide receivers on the same page. Dak, 15 interceptions in 12 games. And if you want to talk up the Dallas Cowboys, They're leading the league in interceptions again from your starting quarterback. They're not going to have this season. I think it could happen in the NFC. The opportunity is there. Now, if they don't play San Francisco in the wild card round or divisional round, maybe that opens the door for them more. But the real thing to be concerned about is I think Dak Prescott is going to be better, have a cleaner season this year. It's the stalemate between Zach Martin, the offensive guard, and the owner, Jerry Jones, because Jerry ain't happy. There's no sign that Zach Martin plans to report anytime soon to camp, and Cowboys owner Jerry Jones yesterday was asked, was he surprised about the situations? And Jones said, quote, surprised is really not the word there. He's talking to Calvin Watkins of the Dallas Morning News. He added, quote, it's very costly. And so that's where we are. Huge, significant ramifications happening here by anybody's measurement financially. Jerry Jones is not paying Zach Martin. Jerry Jones is not upping that deal for Zach Martin. Could he be your best offensive lineman right now? Yes. But Jerry Jones is set. Jerry Jones said, I gave you a contract. I gave you that guaranteed money. I'm sorry you're not the highest paid player at your position right now. But we're not budging.
And he shouldn't. Because he may not be the top paid player, but he's number 3. And that's not too bad when you're considering there's 32 right guards starting in this league. So when you're in that top 10%, that's not something to complain about.
It's not something to complain about. But this is one the Cowboys have to get done. We had conversation on, was Micah Parsons a dynamic enough force, the superstar presence on the defensive side to push that team forward, to maybe even take some of that pressure off Dak Prescott. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how it's humanly possible to take pressure off the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But the way Micah Parsons is talking, getting everyone on board that he doesn't want to just be a Hall of Famer. No, he wants to be one of the greatest of all time to play that position. Cowboys defense, the way they turn the football over, you feel like, okay, that could take some of that pressure off that offense. But if we're sitting here and the focus of Mike McCarthy taking over the play calling, the offense for Dak Prescott is timing, what do you quarterbacks say is the thing that bothers them the most? Pressure up the middle. What can a guard do? Help with pressure up the middle. So I know what Jerry Jones is doing because he's looking and he's going, well, we paid Trayvon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. So you got to have money. It's not the kumbaya vibes that you're getting out of Cincinnati right now.
Not even
keeping
close.
Everyone happy. But this is one where Zach Martin, you might have to budge a little bit. Maybe you don't get the annual average value of being the highest paid interior offensive lineman. Maybe ask for a little bit of a roster bonus. Something along those lines, because this is kind of his last big bite at the apple, even having a big contract, as you say. But that's the one thing, if you're talking about timing, wanting to take a step forward, you got to get him in. But when Jerry Jones, who is usually Mr. I'm happy to pay everyone, is out there going, nope, we ain't moving.
I think it's really important what he's doing. I think with the whole running back situation, having a lineman come out and try and make demands, for him not to give in is huge, because the more these owners fold, the more this happens. So right guard, they say he's one of the best in the game. That's all fair. That's not the most important position on the line, though. He's a right-handed quarterback. The left tackle is the guy who needs to get paid the most. I'm sorry.
Yes. And, that's also a giant question, too, with your aging left tackle, Tyron Smith, with the Dallas Cowboys. And this is the back and forth. And because this is one where, players, it's easy to get upset when dudes are making millions of dollars and asking for more money. I understand that. But that's also their right as having that skill set in that industry. It's about finding the right vibe. And somehow, some way, it feels like Cincinnati is getting people paid and presenting that vibe. And that is hard to do. And that's why I'm just looking at what's going on with the Bengals and how everyone is on the same page. Now, it's a little different when Logan Wilson, linebacker, who signed his 4-year, $37 million deal, as opposed to Joe Mixon going, hey, I'm taking a $3 million pay cut, but they're on the same page.
Yeah, and that is apparent. Everything you hear out of Cincinnati is good right now. So that feeling definitely, there's something there with that, and you can talk about culture and management and leadership and all these things, but having that vibe, as you say, that there is value in that. And if you are really chasing a Super Bowl, you've got to have that chemistry. And, having your guard hold out is not good for chemistry. That much is for sure.
And you look at, Tony Pollard is coming off a severe ankle injury, and they're morphing into him being the lead back. There's uncertainty behind him. You got Mike Davis, who they've kept around, Deuce Vaughn, the 5'6" rookie running back out of Kansas State. So you'd like, not just for your quarterback Dak Prescott, but for your new look running back room to have Zach Martin in camp. But it's a give and take, and you're right. And Jerry Jones is going to dig in his heels, and then it's on the agent of Zach Martin to talk to his client as well. He's serving Zach Martin's best interest. They're going to try to hold out for the best deal, but also understand that while it's not the most important position on the line, the offensive line as a whole, as more and more people are learning, you got to have that right.
You do.
That's the one thing you have to have right.
Yeah, if you don't have a line, you don't have a chance. So I agree with that, and stabilizing that is very important for every team. So there's a lot of value in getting that right. Having his agent, I've read some things about the agent, and I sometimes feel like he's the one pushing this whole situation more than the player, and the player's he's saying things and he's making his feelings known, but the agent's role in this is very interesting because I could see a person that potentially saw an opportunity to get a bonus given the situation and went ahead and did it. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out because I just don't see a situation where he completely holds out. I really don't. It'd be really tough to hold out on a $14 million deal and thinking you're going to get 20 because it's just not going to happen. So I think at some point someone gets in his ear and says, hey, let's get this right. And I think he's there on week one personally.
Because the Cowboys, they made some good moves this offseason. The buzz you're hearing from Cowboys training camp is that they are very excited with the addition of Brandon Cooks. That dude just gets it done.
He does.
He's been one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the NFL, and he's been a number 1 at times, going from the Rams to Saints to Texans, and he hasn't been playing with a great quarterback all the time. Dak Prescott's an upgrade for him.
Yeah, that's a huge upgrade, and he's one of those guys because he's moved around. I think people forget about almost, but at his best, he has the ability and skill set to be a number 1. Maybe not every game, but he will flash. And I think
especially opposite CeeDee Lamb.
Exactly. Like if CeeDee Lamb's getting the double teams, he might find himself wide open for some big plays, and all of a sudden you realize like this guy still has it, and the rest of the league is going to have to catch up on that because when you have 2 number 1s in the wide receiver room, you've got
the
weapons.
Cowboys have made the moves, y'all.
Yes, they
and
have.
I know the giant question mark, Dak Prescott. So they're working on the timings, the interception, the performance in the postseason, but that's 24 wins over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
This team is going to be in position to do something. Now, they got to do it, of course, in the playoffs, but then also Stephon Gilmore as your number 2 cornerback.
Yeah.
Like, the Cowboys have checked the boxes, and Mike McCarthy's putting it all on his shoulders. He's saying, this is my offense, my team, let's go.
Well, you can definitely understand why they have Super Bowl aspirations. They've got, on paper, they've got what it takes. So it's just ironing out the offensive line situation and go win some ball games.
In the NFC that we're talking so much about, it starts with the Eagles. The 49ers are there, but it's the hype of the Detroit Lions. It's open. Who's that number 3 team? Who's going to slide in there in the NFC? 505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animal Hotline. Also the Sports Animal text line for you to get involved this morning. Coming up at 8:15, you're going to hear from Jay Norvell. He is the head coach of the Colorado State Rams, and Jay Norvell is one of the fascinating stories in the Mountain West Conference because you don't realize what some of these guys have done. He was on the football field with Walter Payton. He has an extensive coaching record in the NFL. How has that shaped him and helped him when it comes to coaching college football, especially kind of the shift we've seen over the last few years where there's so much more of a pro aspect to it for these college guys? That's coming up at 8:15. Coming up next, an ego check in Denver. How will the preseason reps, live reps in game, affect the year for Russell Wilson? That's coming up next here on The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
An ego check? Well, Sean Payton has provided that for Russell Wilson. Structure, accountability. Who's under more pressure this season? Aaron Rodgers, I think he hit something when he was clapping back at Sean Payton, going, all right, you got to lay the blame of a struggle this year on the feet of someone else, talking so much about last year. That pressure's on Sean Payton. You're coming in swinging a big hammer, man. You want to be one of the best coaches in the league while he's trying to set the tone in the preseason. The opening drive here on The Sports Animal, JJ Buck, DC, and they love you now, DC.
I love them.
All it says on the text line, DC is great.
They're great.
Look at that.
Yeah, we're all great.
They one good thing about Jerry Jones, telling a player to shut up and block, and now everyone loves you.
Hey, I mean, it's true, though. He's doing the right thing, so what are you going to do?
Well, how about Sean Payton?
That's an interesting question. When I saw that pop up, it made me smile because I was on a podcast in Denver talking about a similar thing. Who needs who more? Does Payton need Wilson more, or is it Wilson that needs Payton more?
Ooh, I'm interested in your answer. I'm going to say right now, it's Russell Wilson who needed Sean Payton more. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I totally agree. Because, in fact, if you look at it, Payton, in a weird way, if things don't go well with Wilson and he replaces with Stidham, which I am calling for by week 7.
Week 7?
By week 7, yes. That I'm telling you, it's going to happen. But the point is, if he makes that change, they make the playoffs, he might be coach of the year.
Yeah. And Sean Payton has a longer runway than Russell Wilson does right now.
Oh, by far. By far.
This is not a one-and-done, two-and-done situation from Sean Payton. I believe that ownership group is going to believe in the veteran presence that is Sean Payton, that he won a Super Bowl, that they're going to give him the opportunity, and he'll be able to bring in his next guy at quarterback, whether it's create something to Jarrett Stidham or he gets to go draft someone or attack another veteran quarterback. So I do believe that this move, and I said it's an ego check for Russell Wilson. Like, is there something there? Did he just really fall off the cliff and lose it faster than we've ever seen anyone in the NFL?
It's possible because he had the late injuries. He had never been injured before, and then suddenly he sits out fairly significant amount of time with injuries. So as dramatic as it seems, it's happening before our eyes. I mean, we're seeing what everyone else is seeing. So it seems odd and maybe even somewhat impossible that it would fall this far this fast. But then again, you're in your mid-30s. Injuries don't heal the same when you're not in your physical prime, and unfortunately, although he is a professional quarterback, I'm not trying to downgrade that, but he is showing signs of aging, and that is not what the Broncos signed up for. So when he says no more Gilligan hats, no coaches, all this stuff, I think that's directed mostly at Russell Wilson. I mean, who else have you seen with a bucket hat on the sideline?
Yeah, so the Broncos, first off, why it's also an ego check. Russ Wilson and the rest of the team's expected regular season starters, they're going to play against Arizona. I don't think that's a bad idea.
I think it's great
in this situation, especially.
We saw what happened last year when they didn't play.
Yeah, the guys that don't play are the established systems teams. Like, I'm all right. Like, you don't need certain players out there. And whoever that is on your list, superstar player, like that's fine. This is, you got to get back on track. This team was a mess last year. This team was not good enough to be able to sit out. They did not have a system that they trusted in. It's not, like, Patrick Mahomes doesn't play in the preseason. Who cares? Like, Andy Reid knows what he's got. Like, this is a little, all right, you guys got to get on track. You have to get some live reps in there. And everyone's specifically looking at you, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, it's another new playbook to learn. His second in 2 years. There's new coordinators, new coaches, new people around. You have to be on the field if you want to learn that system. When you talk about Sean Payton, if he is one of the greatest, as people like to say, you also know that his playbook is one of the greatest, and that's not easy to learn overnight. So the only way to do it, you can look at plays and generally understand how they unfold, but you have to run them in a live situation to get the nuance of what this offense is supposed to be.
And this is a team, too. It's just, you got to get some guys comfortable. A big part of last year was the injuries.
And this year, too.
So many players out. They lost linebacker to an ACL. Last week, Tim Patrick went down.
Well, yeah, two receivers in one day. I mean, you got to get out there and see the new guys now, right?
It's opportunity. They need some depth on that team. They also have some starters coming back that missed a lot of time last year. So this is one that does make sense. And for the Denver Broncos to get their starters out there, to get Russell Wilson working in that offense, as the pressure is on Russell. Like, Sean Payton has the runway. Now, you can say, everyone is under pressure. Every head coach and quarterback is under pressure. But Sean Payton's the one that's going to get to stick around, even if this year goes bad for the Broncos, because he's the one that's going to be tasked with retooling that offense. He's trying to rebuild Russell Wilson, but he'll still get the opportunity to rebuild that team.
The nice thing is he does have a huge piece coming back. It sounds like Javonte Williams is looking good, and he's going to be playing. So that having a stud running back is going to help Russell Wilson a lot.
Yeah, and one of the things, I think maybe tomorrow at 9 o'clock hour, a little fantasy football frenzy.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm going to be doing a lot of fantasy football talk throughout the 9 o'clock hour tomorrow, having some fun as the fantasy football draft's around the corner for everyone, with preseason really ramping up this weekend. One of the things to watch is that Broncos backfield. If you look at Sean Payton, he'll get the RB2 involved.
He will.
So a name to write down. Put it in your phone. Taking the kids to school, you're on the way to work. Samaje Perine.
Yes, sir.
Could be a PPR monster for you this season.
Yeah, that's a really good call.
We'll have some fun tomorrow. A little fantasy football frenzy at a 9 o'clock hour. A little fantasy takes for you. But coming up next, Jeff Grammer, the Albuquerque Journal, is going to join us. The dates are set for basketball, but how is he feeling after what just went down in the world of college athletics? What are the coaches telling Mr. Grammer, and what does he think the future holds for the Lobos, the Aggies, and the sports that we do love here in the state of New Mexico? It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Pitch. There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. Upstairs goes the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, La Cueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. Is La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch. And she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one's hit on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her! Whoa, what a play!
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's
the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Buck.
And you thought name, image, and likeness to transfer portal, that stuff is frustrating. Try figuring out what what conference the team plays in. Perfect time to start a segment. You start choking. You're in the opening drive. You're going to need a giant map. It's connected. You have your thumbtacks. You do the yarn. You go, all right, Oregon. You're going to string this one all the way to Rutgers, and that's a Big Ten. And then, well, the ACC, is that going to go to California? Who the heck knows those? One thing we know for sure is next year, there's going to be a college football and college basketball season. Football season schedule is out. Basketball is starting to trickle out. Enjoy it. Because I have no idea when we get to 2024, 2025, what this world is going to look like. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC with you. Joined now by Jeff Grammer of the Albuquerque Journal, of course, the beat reporter for the Lobo men's basketball team, but so much more than that as well. Jeff, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right. And you've covered so much in college athletics. This was nothing new, conference realignment, but I went through all the emotions over the weekend of, this is the end, this is the seismic shift. They're not even trying to pretend they're all playing the same game to, well, maybe it's actually just more of the same, and it's not really going to affect the world that we live in out here in the Mountain West Conference. What was it like for you watching from, Friday morning, all that Pac-12 stuff, to where we're at right now?
We're kind of still in it, right? Like, we're still sort of waiting for the last domino to fall, the last shoe to drop. It's not like it was Friday. Friday was pretty crazy if you're a follower of just the business or the makeup of college athletics. If you follow just one team specifically, maybe it wasn't as entertaining for you as Friday was. But like, if you just follow college athletics, if you think of any business, and take sports out of the equation, you just think of any business, what happened Friday to the business of college athletics was pretty monumental. And it wasn't, as you said, it wasn't the first time there's been realignment, but this is the kind of realignment that was so radical, so drastically shifted what we've known of college athletics for decades. That this was a pretty big day, and you can't help while it was sort of enjoyable, a little bit of watching the chaos go on perspective, that there was something enjoyable about it for a lot of us. There's also a little bit of sadness to the idea that any pretend kind of notion that fans, media, coaches, anybody still may have clung on to that this is about the student athletes and the old kind of what the coaches and the athletic directors and the school presidents say time and again, that this is all about the student athletes. If it wasn't already out of your head, Friday should have done that. Anybody who can make more money because of their college athletics, any school that can make more money because of their college athletics department will find a way to do that. There's no loyalty. That's fine in the business world. There's no thought of, well, this might be better for us, but even though that has more money, there's none of that anymore either. And that's fine in the business world. But that's the point. Let's forget about this not being a business. This is absolutely a business. And businesses do things like, I hate to make it all about this all the time, but I've said it for a long time. I've been an advocate for it. Businesses do things like pay the employees. Businesses do things that college athletics just hasn't done for a long time. So it's what Friday did was kind of rip the rug out from under a whole lot of people who still like to pretend that this was all about the student athletes. Because it's not about the student athlete. Sending an Oregon player to New Jersey on a Tuesday, Oregon tennis player to New Jersey on a Tuesday afternoon tennis match, to send a baseball team for a 3-game series all the way 4 time zones away to play a conference matchup. And it doesn't make sense anymore. It's long since been time for football to have broken away and been its own conference, since football is what drives all this. Make football its own conference in every league. Make football do that, because they still only travel once a week on a charter flight. They're not flying commercially. They're not hopping on 3 Southwest flights to get from Eugene, Oregon, all the way to New Jersey to play Rutgers. So let's quit pretending this is anything but a business, and that's okay. Just quit pretending it's something else.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, joining us here on The Sports Animal. And with that business side of it, the Mountain West. And you've traveled to all these cities. I have as well, interacting with these fan bases. Were you surprised that, as of now, the Mountain West stayed whole, like it stayed together? I know San Diego State tried to get out before the Pac-12 collapsed. But what is the future of this league? It's not going to immediately, hey, we're going to fly the Pac-12 banner and maybe even get that Apple deal or automatic berth to the college football playoff. But what do you think the right move is moving forward for the Mountain West Conference?
I've said for a long time, and it wasn't that I just knew wholeheartedly I was right from the beginning, but I've said for a long time the best move for the Mountain West during this recent run of all this, when San Diego State was trying desperately to get out of the league, I thought the best move for the Mountain West was just to stand pat. It wasn't to, different times people were like, oh, it's time to add New Mexico State and UTEP, or it's time to add Montana to a good FCS football program, or it's time to add some of these different schools. It never made sense to me for the Mountain West, from their perspective, to add anybody, even if San Diego State left. Now, we're in a different world now where the Pac-12 no longer exists and there's 4 Pac-12 schools, but the Mountain West is actually in a really good spot right now. Not only did she hasn't even been there a year yet. She's in month 8. But not only did their new commissioner, Gloria Nevarez, kind of hold firm and do what the bylaws said she should do against San Diego State. It wasn't like she made some really bold, out-of-nowhere decision. She just did exactly what the bylaws said, held firm, and said, San Diego State, you informed us you were leaving, you were out of the league. And then they had a meeting. They decided, okay, we'll let San Diego State back in the league, but they never wavered on giving them extra time to find a way to get out without paying that buyout of $34 million. And they looked pretty strong in that. San Diego State, in hindsight, I know there are some who don't like San Diego State that would now have wished, well, it would have been great if the Mountain West let them out of the league at the end of June, and now they have to try and get back in as the Pac-12 dissolves. As far as the future goes, I think it's good right now that the Mountain West didn't panic during the San Diego State situation and start adding teams, because they're in a good position. Their bylaws say they cannot dissolve without 9 members of the football members. Hawaii, although football only, it does get a vote in this. 9 of their 12 football members would have to vote to get rid of the clause that says every school leaving to join another conference, and the Pac-12 needs, if it survives, needs new Mountain West schools by next season. So the Mountain West bylaws say 9 of the 12 schools would have to vote not to charge that $34 million buyout. So if by chance the Pac-12 plucks a bunch of Mountain West schools, it better be at least 9 of them, which will make UNM safe at that point. Or if they only pluck 4 or 5, which is sort of what some of the rumors are out there, every one of those 4 or 5 schools would have to pay $34 million. The remaining Mountain West schools would get an awful lot of money if the Pac-12 just stands pat and picks off some of the Mountain West schools.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, joining us here on the Sports Animal, and it's the right opportunity. And it was, even with San Diego State flirting with the Pac-12, it was the first time in a long time I felt confident in the rules of the Mountain West Conference. Not, some of it was just because there was nowhere else for a lot of these schools to go, so they were going to stay together. But together, this conference still does make sense, and it can have an impact, and especially when we look at basketball. And football plus TV equals funding. We all understand that model. But from the basketball side of it, do you see it being affected at all? Because we already know the NCAA tournament, the majority of bids are going to the quote-unquote power conference teams, even in a model where we're not supposed to be talking necessarily about power conferences when it comes to basketball. What are some of the coaches saying that you talk to? Because that's my one thing. If this is just more of the same for football, for the Lobos and Aggies in the Group of 5 era, we get it. But if it starts affecting the basketball, then we have a serious problem.
I do think that there's a lot of coaches in the Mountain West, in this league, and I'm sure elsewhere too, but there are a lot of coaches that have come to, even begrudgingly in some cases, come to the realization that their school's football programs better get right for the sake of their basketball programs too. And that's where UNM's been for quite a long time. I do think that the days of, I've been at the Journal 11 years, and one of the first stories I did on the Lobo basketball team happened to be when a Bob Davie football team was off to a fast start. Somebody had asked Steve Alford at the time, "Hey, what do you think of Bob Davie and football getting going? Everyone's excited. Are they is football the new sport in town?" And Steve Alford's response was, Lobo basketball is still king in this town. He didn't mean it as arrogantly as it came across necessarily. He just said, the day that I'm and Lobo basketball is sort of taking a back seat to Lobo football, I'm going to be in trouble because that means I probably messed up something with Lobo basketball. Well, we ran the headline the next day. He got really mad at me. That was like our introduction to each other. Our headline said, Alford, Lobo basketball still king. And he thought it was me kind of making them pit against each other. That's fine. It may have been. It wasn't my headline, but whatever. The point was Steve Alford still very much realized that, basketball is what I do, and that's what matters. Now, even the Steve Alfords of the world realize there's only so much you can do if you aren't Gonzaga, or if you aren't maybe Wichita State, maybe, but they've been down too, or maybe a Big East school. If you aren't the Big East or Gonzaga, you can't survive in the modern college athletics landscape if your football program at your school isn't making some money. And it's really hard to do what UNM's doing right now, where Pitino kind of has the basketball program back for a little while. I say back. They still finished 7th last year. They're expected to be really good this year. But it is so hard to get your college basketball program right if football isn't right.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, with us. And the one thing we know for sure, there's going to be games played this year. The conferences, for one final time, we're going to look at the way that we are familiar with. And 2 of those games, big-time games, back on the schedule. We knew it was coming, but it's official. New Mexico State rivalry back on Saturday, December 2nd in the Pit, Friday, December 15th in Las Cruces. I know it was a lot of dotting the I's, crossing the T's, but it really felt like this is one is just make sure both athletic departments maybe doing a little bit more than usual to cover their bases and get these games back on.
Yeah, I want to say I never really thought they wouldn't play this year. It would have shocked me had they not played. But a month or 2 ago, when I realized they still hadn't signed a contract, and then I realized why they hadn't signed a contract, I started to think, wow, maybe this is really in jeopardy. I'm glad they came around and that both schools, got out of whatever way or whatever was in their way of getting this done, because it would have been ridiculous for this state not to have that. Men's basketball needs to play each other there, and there's no there's a lot of people want to bring up, does it help this team or that team? Should they play twice? I don't know about all that. You can go down those paths and have those arguments. These two teams at a minimum should play once a year. There's only 2 FBS level or Division I level programs in this state. It would have been really, really unfortunate had anything gotten in the way of that play. Now, I say all that understanding what happened last year. I know the emotions and the tensions boiled over last year, and I know it better be safe at both programs, but that goes without saying for anything. Like, if that was what was in the way, if UNM and NMSU were really saying, we can't play this game because it's too dangerous, we're in a really bad spot if that's really the reality, that they couldn't in any way feel they could secure their home arenas enough to make a game safe for both. And this is for both schools. Again, these fights have happened, and the tensions have been high from both fan bases for a while. We know what happened last year. It wasn't at a game. We'll remind that. Now, there was something that happened at a football game in October last year that was pretty bad, but like this if this would have got canceled because neither school could feel safe playing at the other school, that would have been a really big kind of indictment on the failures of both schools to be able to protect their home facilities, and that would have been pretty sad.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. Always enjoy catching up with you, man, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
As Jeff Grammer. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Jay Norvell, head coach of Colorado State. And how was his NFL career? This man was on the field with Walter Payton. This man has coached at the highest level. How has that helped him adapt to what we see in college athletics today? It's next here on The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Generator.
The Rams walk off the La Cueva Bears.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling, and we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke.
Your roster would be much more stable going through that. It's even more volatile. And so, you know, everybody wants to build a program with talent, experience, and consistency. And it's just difficult to do that in this era transfer portal. So we've got a lot of new players. We got 49 new players in this recruiting class.
It's insane, right?
And, you know, about a dozen transfers, other high school kids, really good players that fit our profile. And we're just trying to add to make our 2-deep competitive at every position. And I think we've been able to improve every position, which is great.
How much does the noise outside filter in? And I ask that because you said so many things about building a program, and one thing you didn't say is patience or time or anything like that. There's no fan base that's patient.
Well, I think,
but yours with the new facility, right? And they expect something.
I mean, there's expectations for sure at any program that is worth its salt. But I do think I don't believe that the transfer portal is something that can fix all your ailments in a program. And so I still believe the way to build a program is through good high school players that fit your profile, you can develop, and they stay with you over time. And so, but everybody thinks that this transfer portal is a quick fix, and I don't believe it is.
How do kids, and maybe this will be a secular thing, right? Everybody wants to play now. Kids want to come in and play now, and we've watched a lot of players develop and then think the grass is greener somewhere else. Transfer portal, NIL. Where does the mix come in when you're building a roster? And I know how important the roster is to you, right? That's the most important thing you have. What's the mix between high school players and transfers to get to where you want to be on a consistent basis?
Well, I think when you're first putting a program together and you have a lot of holes in the roster, the more experienced players are coming from the transfer portal. So to gain experience and maturity, you probably pull from the transfer portal. In the long run, I believe you're better off with high school players. And I think as our program gets healthier, it's less and less transfer players, more and more high school players.
Jay Norvell with us here on the Sports Animal. Speaking of development, 1986, 87, for you, just out of Iowa. You're trying to make it in the NFL. What were those years like for you? What did you learn in those 2 seasons?
Boy, I was a big, slow safety, all Big Ten safety. And if I could run, I would have probably been able to play safety in the NFL. But I got signed as a free agent with Denver, and then I got signed as a free agent with the Bears. They wanted me to get up to about 2.25 and play linebacker, and so just a great experience. I spent 2 years with the Bears, and Walter Payton was still playing, and I played linebacker behind Wilbur Marshall, Otis Wilson, and Mike Singletary, and played for Mike Ditka. Just a great time to be a part of that organization and with so many great players, and just got a chance to be around that league for 2 years as a player and learned a lot from that.
Kid from Wisconsin, did you grow up a Packers fan?
Yeah.
So
Packers, Bears, and Brewers. But it's just I grew up in Madison, and I ended up playing at Iowa. My dad and my brother played at Wisconsin. And then it just so happens the Bears gave me a shot. They believed in me, and so I ended up being a Bear. So that was a little different.
That'd be some fun conversations. And with your experience, you've not only had those years on NFL rosters, you've coached in the NFL. How does that help you as a college coach, just having all those different experiences?
I just think, when you become a head coach, you get tested in so many different ways, and your knowledge of all areas of football really help you. I have a unique background. I played defense. I've coached on offense majority of my career. I've coached several different positions. I coach quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends. I've been a special teams coordinator. But I think my years in the NFL really helped me evaluate. I was around great people like Bill Polian and Al Davis, who had very specific ideas about what to look for in players. And I think all of that has helped me become a better head coach.
Colorado State's head coach, Jay Norvell, is with us. Percentage of kids that you recruit that talk about and or want to be in the NFL, how often does that come up? And because you've been there, you can talk differently maybe than some other coaches can.
I think 100%. I mean, all kids have a dream of playing in the NFL, and it becomes a reality for some, but it's a minority. And but I think our experiences and my experiences, I coached 4 years with the Indianapolis Colts. I had great experiences with players like Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, and Peyton Manning was our quarterback. And then with the Raiders, we know what great players look like, and we can help explain those experiences to our players. And it's been really helpful over the years with our quarterbacks, with our receivers, what they have to do to get to that level. And so, we take all of those experiences. We try to help our kids as much as we can.
Do you have a moment that stands out to you, a wow moment in your career? Because I look down and you've been part of the OU Texas rivalry, BCS title games, NFL.
Yeah.
How do you just all kind of wrap your head around all that?
It's I've been really blessed. I've been around a lot of Hall of Fame coaches, Hayden Fry and Bob Stoops and Barry Alvarez and Bill Snyder and, Jim Moore. I can go on and on about the great coaches, Tom Moore in the NFL, great players. I just talking there as a representative of the Cotton Bowl here, and I just saw his shirt, and I just said, I started talking about all the Cotton Bowls that I was a part of, and 8 years really, the Red River rivalry at OU in Texas. I've coached on both sides of that, won on both sides, and then competed in the Cotton Bowl. But I love those memories. I mean, that is such a special game to be able to coach in, OU Texas and the Red River rivalry. But as far as one wow moment, I don't know if I could say that, but just a lot of great experiences and a lot of big games.
A few more minutes with Jay Norvell, Colorado State's head coach. So that's a lot of names. There were a lot of names, right? There are a lot of coaches. If there was one or two that you would say are the most in you as a head coach, right?
Yeah.
And there's probably a piece of almost all of them in you.
Yeah.
But who do you think you're most like as a head coach? As maybe that was the biggest mentor or mentors?
I got 2 pictures in my office, and one's Hayden Fry, and I learned, he changed my life when I went to play for him at Iowa. And the other one's Al Davis. And, I was with Al Davis for 2 years with the Raiders, and I never met a man that loved his football team more than him, and just learned so much from him about evaluating players and running a program and really just being in charge of everything. So those 2 guys influenced me the most. Bob Stoops, I was with Bob for 7 years, and a lot of things we do are similar with Bob. And then, Hal Mummy and Mike Leach. I mean, I've spent so much time with both of them and just learned so much offensive football from them. I've been really lucky to be around a lot of great people.
Well, I ask you that because all the guys that have made an impression on you, and there's a coach in this league who considers you a mentor. And Timmy Chang in Hawaii was talking about what he learned playing for you. And now, I don't know. I mean, I'm not telling you you're getting older. I'm just saying you're more experienced.
Yeah.
There's guys that now are calling you mentor.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's great. I mean, I've been very lucky to be around some great people. And, I think the biggest thing as a head coach you can do is help other guys advance in their career. And I'm so proud of Timmy. He's such a great leader. He's going to be a great head coach. And I'm so anxious to watch his career grow, but he's so deserving of that position. And I just, I got another young one in Freddie Banks. I think he's going to be a head coach, and would love to help him get to that position.
All right, we're going to let you go on this, and I hope it's okay that we didn't talk X and O's and football and that stuff. I want a little wider around the league and stuff. And I know you're going to tell me I control what I can control, and I think that's right. But with all the realignment talk and Colorado State's name being brought up in conversations to this league and that league, I'm not asking you, should you go, where should you go? I know you don't make those calls. How much of that conversation filters into your life, your player's life, and how much time do you spend talking about what's fact and fiction and the fact that you really don't know? Go out and do your job today, and we'll play. We got to play tomorrow.
I think we're in a great place. I love our community. I love our administration at Colorado State. I love our facilities. We're 40 miles from Denver. We got the Denver TV market. I think we're in a great position. I think one of the most exciting things is that, if we win our league, I think we got a chance to play in a New Year's Six game.
You don't have to sell me on it.
No. And so I'm excited about that. Whether we stay in the Mountain West or whether we get an opportunity to move into Power 5, I think we're going to have an opportunity to play in the biggest games. And that's why I came to Colorado State.
And the way it's happening now in this league, it may set you up for that as well. I think this league is as positioned as any league outside the Power 5 to regularly, not every year, but regularly get into the playoff.
Yep, and that's our goal. We want to be nationally recognized, and we want to play in those big games.
I'll see you during the season. You'll see me come up to you at some point on it before a game to come shake your hand before the game.
Look
it's always
forward
good
to
to see
it.
you. Have a great year.
Thank you.
We're all moving a little faster now.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties.
From Walter Payton to Peyton Manning, I cannot wait to talk to Jay Norvell again. And I knew with his coaching career and playing in the NFL, some of the guys he came across, but he's just name dropping like it's nothing. And I cannot wait.
You know, he's one of those guys, and I love this about college football coaches, like all these interviews you've done. Like, he gets me fired up, man. Like, and I get it, college coaches are always selling a little bit, but that energy, it's contagious. I'm back here, like, ready to go run some drills. Let's do it.
And it's one of those things. It's like 3-9 Colorado State. Why would I care about Jay Norvell? Because the background of some of these dudes in the Mountain West Conference, it's fantastic.
It is. And I mean, he sounds like a cool guy. That's the other thing.
There's such a good vibe with the Mountain West coaches. And, it's media days and it's laid back. And with Jeff and I, and they let their guard down a little bit with Jeff because they know him through the bowl game.
Sure.
But, when they sit down and we're just talking life and sharing stories, it's not the same old, meat and potatoes of, oh, this is who my starting quarterback is, or hopefully we can run the football better this year, because I want to know the stories.
The story behind
like how you got here.
Yeah.
Like, how did all those years in the NFL shape you? And I want to dive into more Al Davis stuff with Jay Norvell.
When he said that, I wanted to hear more immediately. That was so unexpected.
We just ran out, didn't have time. It'd be like an hour podcast.
You could have easily done an hour. Easily done an hour with that guy.
Now, the one thing I am bummed about this year is the Lobos and Rams do not play. They've been Mountain Division foes for a while, but the new scheduling format, they're switching it up. There is no divisions; just the top two teams play each other at the end of the season. This is one that works. Is like the matchups that you just want to see, like Lobos Rams, Lobos Falcons, Lobos Cowboys.
It's an easy drive
right up the Rocky Mountain. So I am bummed that the Rams are not on the Lobos schedule this season. Now, Lobos have definitely been the nail in a lot of these budding rivalries, and that is one because they played together for so long. But Jay Norvell, I think, is in a fantastic position to really turn Colorado State around, and that's the key in the Mountain West Conference. It's recruiting, it's a transfer portal, but they have the facilities in Fort Collin, and he is a respected dude in college football.
He is. He brought up one thing that I love. You ever been to Madison, Wisconsin?
I haven't.
Okay, State Street is probably the most fun you're going to have on a college city or campus. Their Halloween out there is ridiculous. The best party, period. So we'll put that out there. He grew up in Madtown, went to Chicago. Reminds me of Lupe Fiasco, really. Like, he's a cool cat, man. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, so Jay Norvell, if you missed it, it's up wherever you get your podcast. Search The Opening Drive. You can listen back to our interviews or his hours on the show. And you can hear our new feature as well, The Red Zone, and that is coming up at 9 a.m. 505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animal text line. And also the Sports Animal hotline this morning. Well, Jay Norvell, I mentioned his time in Chicago with Walter Payton. They have a quarterback that can run pretty well. And what are they saying about his progress? And when we talk about X factors, this or that, Justin Fields is that dude. He's that dude that is ready to explode. But what are they focusing on in Chicago? That's next on The Eat Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
But is now a 17-game NFL season. There are a couple weeks that you have to. A couple games you point at that you have to get this done. For Justin Fields, it's week 1 of the regular season. Justin Fields has to outplay Jordan Love at home. Bears, Packers kick off the season, and Justin Fields has to be that guy. He's explosive. He's dynamic. Over 1,000 yards on the ground. But to win in the NFL, you have to maximize your arm. The Chicago Bears finally started to invest around Justin Fields this offseason. They spent a draft pick last year to trade for Chase Claypool, who should settle into a nice number 2 wide receiver. DJ Moore was acquired to be the wide receiver 1. They paid their tight end, Cole Kmet, a bunch of money this offseason. The time is now. And Justin Fields has the talent to be one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. He absolutely does. And the NFL is in such a fun point right now because of all the dynamic quarterbacks. And I think at times we forget how good some of these guys are because we're comparing all these guys to Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. And if you don't have that guy, he can't be any good. He can't get it done. But Justin Fields is going to be one of the most exciting quarterbacks on the field next season. So how is he progressing? What do the Bears need out of Justin Fields? And in NFC North, that the hype train is crazy. It's Dan Campbell. It's the Lions. He's trying to walk a line on the sidelines, bite your kneecaps. Minnesota Vikings, they didn't win in the playoffs. They lost at home to the Giants, so they can't be any good then this season. The difference maker in that division is going to be Justin Fields. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC with you today. So the Bears are looking for a nice gradual ascent. That is what their offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, said. He said, quote, with any young quarterback, they have a really hard time letting go of plays. You make the play call and you get excited, but the defense doesn't present what you want. Some guys just want to say, screw it, we're going to go make a play and see what happens. And DC, this is the dynamic that we see with the athletic quarterbacks. It's getting more in the passing game, but also not giving up the run game. And it's the Lamar Jackson. I think Justin Fields, a little bit better passer than Lamar Jackson is at this point. I think Lamar has come a long way in his career, but that's the balance is, you have game-breaking ability. Like, this dude runs away from people in the secondary.
Yeah, and it's not even close sometimes. So he's got the legs, and we've seen he's got an arm, but I love the fact that they're finally letting him unleash, make his own decisions, and try and maximize that skill set.
And that is the player in the NFC North. Can Jordan Love pop? How good is the Green Bay Packers roster? The way Detroit finished the season. Like, Justin Fields,
because he had that 1,100 yards and the way he
is the most talented quarterback in that division.
Absolutely. Now, Love, we are going to see from him, and that's going to be very interesting. But, yeah, as of right now, the way he ended, that's not even really that debatable. He is by far the best in that division.
And it's being able to balance the two. And I'm interested to see, now that they've given him weapons, and now they're saying, all right, we are progressing you. Last year was just kind of like, go get the reps. There really wasn't much of an offensive identity. They didn't have the playmakers around him. It was kind of go play, see what happens.
Yeah,
and that's where you got the ridiculous running game from him, creating plays.
It felt like they were feeling it out, treating basically the whole year like a preseason. They were 3-14, so it seems like they were okay with any outcome as long as they were able to develop Fields. And it appears that is exactly what happened, because they added now the weapons for the air game, and they look like the team to beat. And I'll even go out there. I picked them for the NFC North.
They have good opportunities right out of the gate. Like week 1, it's a long season, and in the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax. Like you're going to get a lot of that. It happened with Cincinnati last year, but we're also talking about Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers quarterback teams, not necessarily teams trying to break out. Week 1, that has to be Justin Fields outplaying Jordan Love in that game, because it sets them up. They get off to a good start.
Yeah,
they host the Packers. They're at Tampa Bay. The Bucs could be an interesting team with Kyle Trask making some inroads there. Did they misjudge their offseason? That could be a team to watch, actually, the NFC South, with all the love we've been given the Saints in that division. But coming up next, it's Into the Red Zone here on The Sports Animal. JJ Buck DC with you on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Moody's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Even if they're not that proud of us. Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Your home for the NFL is the sports animal. Tick-tock, tick-tock until you heard Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football right here on the Sports Animal. Training camp stories every single day, breaking it down, the schedule. Oh, yeah, buddy, you feel it flowing through your veins. That is football season. JJ Buck, DC with you here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. And now it's in the red zone on the Sports Animal.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy? I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this thing.
You're in the red zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
All right, it is time again for the red zone. So let's get right to it. Matt Ryan not ruling out an NFL return ahead of his CBS job. What? He's called in an interview with The Atlantic, the last 18 months a total show. And he put it out there that he wasn't going to let one bad week ruin 14 good years in Atlanta. So that's great. But he signed this deal to call games with Tiki Barber and Andrew Cantillon. However, he also put it out there that he is keeping in shape and isn't ruling out a return. So I got to ask you, JJ, have we seen the end of Matt Ryan, the football player?
Yes. Sometimes you're just done. And for Matt Ryan, he's just done. Because if you're looking for a quarterback right now, you said, man, we need a backup. Something bad just happened. Are you calling Matt Ryan or are you calling Carson Wentz?
You're calling Carson. And I totally agree with you. I don't think there's a chance we ever see him on a football field as a coach or a player.
I think Matt Ryan is officially retired.
Yeah, welcome to the media, Matt Ryan.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
All right, the final group of the NFL Top 100 was released yesterday. Remember, that's voted on by the players. So big surprise, Kansas City has 3 current and 1 former player in the top 10, which is crazy. Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones, and Tyreek Hill. But what's also crazy is that all 4 of those guys were actually drafted by Kansas City. So moving over to Seattle, they've had an incredible draft over the last couple of years since the Wilson trade. So I got to ask, could the Seahawks emerge as the next big thing in the NFL?
The way they position themselves with the draft picks the last few years, they've hit home runs. And you got a quarterback on the cheap, which is going to allow you to keep those star players. And I think for the Seattle Seahawks, they have done the unexpected. And that it wasn't that the quarterback that changed the franchise, it was the draft picks and the redevelopment of a quarterback. So if you're looking at who do I trust, who could be that team, again, as you say, to build through the draft, definitely watch the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, it's amazing when you hear they had 7 starters, I believe, that were drafted last year. That's just insane. So I kind of see this, the way they're building it up, similar to the Chiefs. They could totally be the next big thing. And I think that should be very exciting for anyone who's in the Pacific Northwest.
Third and goal.
Omaha!
All right, so over in the Circle City, the Colts signed Kenyon Drake last weekend. This raises eyebrows as the relationship between Jim Irsay and Jonathan Taylor is currently terrible. So I got to ask, what are the chances Jonathan Taylor is not a Colt in week 1? And if he isn't, is it due to a trade or a holdout?
So the chances he's not a Colt, I want to say it's like 20% right now. I still think even with this contract stalemate, butting heads, Jim Irsay, the way he's come down on running backs, that they don't want to trade him. That's the reports, is they do not want to let go of Jonathan Taylor, despite the owner not wanting to pay running backs at this point in time. Now, if he isn't on the field, I do think it would be a holdout. I do think, Jonathan Taylor might sit out a couple games just to reinforce his point, because I got a little bitter when you have an hour meeting with your owner after he just said your position is not worth it. And at 24 years old, if there's anyone that should get paid for the next few years, it is a Jonathan Taylor. So I believe he is going to be on the Colts, but he could not play week 1 because he's sending a little extra point to Jim Irsay.
And I agree with that too. I think Jim Irsay is handling this a very similar way as Jerry Jones. He's protecting the future of the league, as strange as that might sound. So I do see kind of a similar situation where he's on the team but not playing. And that is not a good thing if you're trying to develop a running quarterback. So hopefully they get it worked out, but I'm with you. I can see a situation where he is holding out and trying to try and improve his contract situation.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Beer me.
All right, finally with more running back news, or maybe not. So what is going to happen with the other big names out there? We're barely hearing anything new about Josh Jacobs, Ezekiel Elliott, and Dalvin Cook. So are these guys going to be on a roster for week 1? And if so, where? If not, why?
Dalvin Cook, Miami or the New York Jets. I think he's just kind of waffling back and forth, waiting for that final contract offer that comes in at a little more money than he's hoping to get at this moment in time. I think that makes the most sense. Miami's talked about, that's a luxury play for them. But in that offense, the goal of a Kyle Shanahan offense, which is a Mike McDaniel offense, is to have an excess of skill players around your quote-unquote above average quarterback in this. And then the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, he likes his vets. And, then we want Dalvin Cook back there, Breece Hall coming off the knee, it would make sense. So I think Dalvin Cook ends up either in New York or Miami. Ezekiel Elliott's going to get signed because he's respected. Listen to people talk about Ezekiel Elliott in the league. They say he's great at blitz pickup. He can come in, he can play right away. So Ezekiel Elliott's going to find a place to play. I don't know exactly where that's going to be. Maybe that one is more injury dependent, but both those guys will be playing. And Josh Jacobs, as of now, even when you have Devontae Adams coming out saying, pay this man, I don't see him on the field for the Raiders.
No, I have so many questions about the Raiders situation. And when you have your receiver coming out and speaking on the running back's contract, that usually is not a great sign. So with him, I'm kind of wondering about the holdout. I think Dalvin Cook would have already signed with the Jets, though, if he was going to. And Miami put out an offer that was pretty low. So I kind of feel like he does sign somewhere before the end of the offseason. It's hard telling who is going to make that move. The one with Elliott, though, you're absolutely right. He is highly respected. I could see a situation where he gets picked up week 5, week 6, week 7 on an injury type situation, plays out the end of the season, and who knows, maybe he makes a run with a team that, right now you wouldn't even think is on the radar.
And that was In the Red Zone on the Sports Animal.
Rome Show.
One of the single worst stretches of team.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust. and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Well, the preseason can also be one where do something different to help someone out. The pressure, talking about some starters playing. Sean Payton putting his starters out there. Russell Wilson, new offense, ego check, go get it done. But also what Mike Vrabel is doing in Tennessee, I think is going to get a lot of attention. And a lot of coaches might go, maybe this would be a really good idea, especially when you talk about diversity at the head coaching position. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC with you this morning. A little T-Swift action for Symbieta. He's back with us on Thursday. Mike Vrabel, head coach of the Tennessee Titans. He's accepting that, the preseason can be for multiple things. In this case, on Saturday, Titans head coach Mike Vrabel will allow assistant head coach and defensive line coach Terrell Williams to serve as the acting head coach during their preseason game. Now, of course, Vrabel will be assisting, but he wanted to give Williams an opportunity to gain experience and exposure. Of course, Williams, black coach in the NFL, and that's a huge topic. Are there enough black head coaches in the NFL? And this is a step because we've watched it with Eric Bieniemy. He was the offensive coordinator, but actually you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, so we can't credit you there. But then on the flip side, you look at other guys that get a ton of credit and are able to move on. This is a nice move. This is a smart move because you just want opportunities. You want chances. And Mike Vrabel is kind of taking a step back and saying, hey, he's going to get to run the show. He's going to get that experience. I love it. That's what preseason's all about.
Yeah, no, totally. This is probably the move of the offseason. He knocked it out of the park, to be honest. Doing this isn't going to impact the regular season at all. It's giving guys a chance to actually show what they can do. I think it's fantastic.
Just got to take a step back, let him do all the barking at the referees, set up the team, talk about it, because you want experience, whatever we do in life, whatever opportunity you're striving for, you're just looking for that experience. You're looking for that opportunity. Turn on the microphone, or at work, handle a project, anything along those lines. And that experience can help you take that next step, because any head coach you talk to, it is a dramatically different thing. It is so different than being a position coach, even in the NFL, because you're hyper-focused on your room. And then all of a sudden, as a head coach, you still want to put your systems in place, but then you got to deal with the drama. You got to deal with the entire team. You got to deal with the media to a different extent. Allowing these guys that opportunity, it's great. And I really do appreciate how Mike Vrabel does see the bigger picture.
He totally does. And I love this because, honestly, Terrell Williams is not a guy that was on my radar. Didn't really know anything about him. Now he is.
That's the first time that 99% of us know who the defensive line coach of the Tennessee Titans is.
That's fantastic. That is such a class move. We sometimes joke about the Titans and their quarterback situation, everything, but making moves like this in your organization builds culture. It connects people. As small as it may seem, this could be a huge thing for that locker room. And honestly, good on him, man.
Players are going to take notice.
Absolutely. The respect for that guy right now has probably never been higher.
And I think Mike Vrabel he's not rated. When we talk about coaches, he's just kind of one of those guys that's there, but he has been well above average.
Oh, yeah.
In Tennessee, and how he's built that offense around Ryan Tannehill, utilized a Derrick Henry. And he does seem like a coach that his guys rally for. There's never been problems in that organization. Yeah, it just comes down to losing football games. Maybe you're just not good enough anymore because Trevor Lawrence has arrived. And with a real head coach, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars are that division. But the Titans are kind of just that, they're that, grumpy dog still in the corner saying, hey, I got a little bite left. Don't you test me.
Yeah, don't sleep on the Titans.
And that's what they're going to have to try to do this year to run down a Jaguars team that should be the favorites. It'd be very disappointing if they don't win that division because they check so many boxes this season. But there's a reason, the Titans they find a way to compete. And it's Mike Vrabel setting that tone. And speaking of character and tone setting, we talked about Josh Allen and his attitude. And he said maybe he needs to be more of a jerk. I don't think that the Buffalo Bills need a dramatic shift in anything. I think Josh Allen, to me, is still top 3 or 4 quarterback in the NFL, however you want to rank him with what we've seen from Jalen Hurts. But we're talking about veteran players. How about Von Miller? Von Miller kind of laid it out. He knows that, this could be his last run. You remember the Bills gave the dude $120 million.
Isn't that crazy?
It was a massive deal in the offseason. And Von Miller, that was coming back from a torn ACL he suffered on Thanksgiving. But he is looking at this run with Buffalo as being his last. He was on the Part of My Take podcast, and Von Miller said, quote, I could play till I'm 39. That's how long he signed for the Buffalo Bills. In my mind, if I leave the Buffalo Bills, I'm done. If I'm being traded, I'm done. Wherever I get to, I'm done. I'm wrapping them up. So Vaughn is laying it out that this is going to be his last ride in Buffalo. And for the Buffalo Bills, we talk about Josh Allen, we talk about Stephon Diggs. It's going to be a slow ramp up because Von Miller was also talking about if he's not 100%, then he's not going to be on the field. Do you believe that Von Miller still has that game-changing ability? Because the Bills have been pretty good defensively, and then if you start working him into that rotation,
he's still got it. He's so quick, and he knows this game so well that even if he's lost half a step, he can make up for it in angles and motion and things like that. So I'm not as worried about him as I am Josh Allen. When he comes out and says, I need to be more of a jerk, that's a guy who doesn't get it, because you don't need to be a jerk.
No.
If you are a jerk, people don't like you, generally in life. So if he doesn't understand that he needs to be a leader, a manager, a mentor, any of those things, and he just lumps it into a jerk, that's a dude that doesn't get it. And that's probably why I don't have him in my top 5 quarterbacks.
And this is one where I think it's just because you haven't been in the AFC Champion or Super Bowl yet, like, it's not broken.
No.
Like, the Bills are fine. Like, just because, all right, you lost out to Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, it doesn't mean you have to do a complete 180.
No.
Like, you're right there.
Yeah,
you're going
in the
to
conversation.
be really good.
Every year they're talking about the Bills for the last 4 years or so. I mean, when you're in the conversation, only one team wins a Super Bowl every year.
Like, do you keep being you? The progression of Josh Allen has been unbelievable.
Absolutely. Be the best Josh Allen you can be. Don't worry about the other stuff, because, the rest is just noise.
But guys like Von Miller, who have Super Bowl championships, who have been in those locker rooms, they're going to help
Yes, absolutely.
keep that ship in the direction it needs to go.
And that's the real veteran voice that they need to be listening to. Josh Allen is technically a veteran, but to me, until he gets it figured out, he's still a kid.
And I think he has it figured out. I think maybe it feels like maybe in his mind he's like, well, we haven't won yet, so I got to show people I'm doing something. Like, everyone is down on Buffalo all of a sudden. I'm like, that dude is still a really good football player. Bad playoff performance, not running from that.
It kind of makes him seem insecure, though. Yeah. And that's not what you want out of a quarterback. Infighting with his number one receiver didn't make any sense. I'm sure we're going to find out a lot more about that after this season, especially if they come out and they're 9-7 or 9-8 miss playoffs or something like that. There's so much more going on behind the scenes of Buffalo right now that it's really hard to assess like what to expect, because there are so many unknowns. But I don't
like that team, what they went through at the end of the season.
That's
DeMar Hamlin passing away on the field, coming back. Like that is an emotional thing that is not as simple as, hey, you're on to the next one. And I know, I'm one that I think a lot of the off the field stuff doesn't necessarily filter in. That was on the field.
That
was a
right
game situation. It canceled a Monday Night Football game. And so that dramatically affected that locker room. And then you have a bad postseason performance. Then you have Stephon Diggs chirping. And it's like, well, this is one of the situations I'm with you. When you're talking about Zach Martin and his contract, you're like, you got paid. I'm like, yo, Stephon, look at the targets that you have had since you've joined the Buffalo Bills. You are by far his number one wide receiver.
Yeah, it's not even in question. So, what is the deal? And the idea that he would have some influence on play calling is just absurd.
So, is this the one, though, if you're looking and we talk about noise and chemistry, it feels like there's a little too much going on with the Bills for as good as they should be. So that's why I was interested in this Von Miller story, because he's locked in. He says he's all in. He's pushed until the end with the Buffalo Bills, and that's the kind of guy that can rally everyone around him.
Yeah, he can, and I mean, it looks like he's going to have to if they want to make this run.
505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animal Hotline, also the Sports Animal text line. Bruin James, you're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Bruin James?
Hey, I'd like to give a shout-out to Mercedes Lewis. It's going to be his 18th year playing in the NFL. Pretty good, man. He's a Bruin, Long Beach Poly, and, I'd like to give a shout-out. It's pretty good. I mean, as tight end, and I think he's 41. And I'd just like to give a shout-out to him. He's with the Chicago Bears, just signed a one-year deal. And, man, it's a long time to play. So, go Bruins, and talk to you guys later.
Mercedes Lewis, that's a name from the past.
It totally is, and I just pulled him up. He's 38 now. So, I mean, I'm sorry, 39 now. So, yeah, I mean, that's a guy that might have a couple years in him. And being on the Bears, that playing with Kmet, that's a great situation for that guy.
That's the locker room guy.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
That's the guy you're bringing in because you are so young for Chicago Bears. Now, I know Mercedes Lewis kind of hitches wagon for so long to Aaron Rodgers and on the Green Bay Packers, but no, that's the guy you're bringing in. You have a young tight end, got a young quarterback, and locker room presence, couple red zone snaps, not a lot going on. That is an unbelievable career.
Yeah, I'm looking at his career stats. Started in 2006. You don't see guys going 18 years anymore. That absolutely, Bruin James, good up on Mercedes Lewis for playing 18 years.
Lewis said, quote, part of it is showing people that it can be done on his longevity, adding being able to have the singular focus to go out there and be your personal best every single day. For me, that is part of my purpose. I was born to do this. I'm not going to disrespect the gift of still being able to do it and not be here. It is surprising the amount of veteran tight ends that's stuck. You know what happened? And I thought it was a headline about the dude retiring. Jimmy Graham signing with the Saints.
Yeah, he got a year.
To play. I was like, oh, he's going to sign and then retire a Saint. No, he's actually playing for the Saints.
Yeah, who would have thought? I thought Jimmy Graham was out. I really did. So when they said he signed 1 year, I looked into it and he did take a year off. But yeah, these tight ends are keeping themselves in shape.
How are they doing that?
Well, they play basketball first.
That's true.
And I mean, I look at all the guys who played longest. They all played basketball in college.
Jimmy Graham, Antonio
Gates,
Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's such a unique position. It's probably my favorite on the field. But here's one that'll blow your mind. Out of the 17 years previous to this, how many times do you think he played less than 10 games? Once. And that was 8 games in 2014. So the guy's playing every week, and he's still playing, and it appears like he's not stopping soon. That is amazing.
That is fascinating. The more you know, the life of an NFL tight end. 505-246-0610, the Sports Animal hotline and text line to get in this morning. You would not believe what this Orioles broadcaster said to get suspended. That's next here on the Sports Animal.
Telling it like it is.
I absolutely.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com.
It's dangerous, man. You have heart-stopping moments when you're in this business, but it's pretty easy not to say things that are not part of your daily vocabulary. You know, to get you fired or axed out of the business for good. You would not believe what the Baltimore Orioles broadcaster said to get himself suspended. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC, with you this morning. The Orioles, they're having a fantastic season. It is all coming together. They are in the race in the AL East to win that division, to go to the postseason. The Baltimore Orioles. And with all that stuff that's going on, you think that Kevin Brown, the Orioles play-by-play broadcaster, would be living his best life. But he said this.
For the Orioles, Brandon Hyde has felt like this has been maybe the toughest ballpark to play in, but the Orioles have a chance to do something special today. They've already clinched at least a split in the series, winning 2 of the first 3, and they could pick up a series win behind Tyler Wells today. It's been a minute. The Orioles split a 2-gamer with the Rays in June. They had lost their last 15 series here at Tropicana Field. You have to go back to when our now colleague Brad Brock picked up the win in the series finale June 25th, 2017, the last time the Orioles won a series here at St. Pete.
Can you believe that?
Got 3-2 at the Trop this year after winning
that's
3
outrageous.
of 18 the previous 3 years.
That's
combined. It is a stark difference, Ben, and it is not a bad Rays team.
That was
it's
it.
Not like all of a sudden the Rays became slouches in the American League East. They've led this division every day, but now 2, and the Orioles once again are back alone in first place. Yeah, for the Orioles.
I'm appalled that man pointed out the Baltimore Orioles record in Tampa Bay. And if you're scratching your head right now, going, "What just happened?" That is everyone else, because he pointed out how bad the Orioles have been against the Tampa Bay Rays at Tropicana Field. And that was on July 23rd. And since then, Kevin Brown has not been on a broadcast. And people are connecting the dots saying that the Baltimore Orioles front office, someone in management, did not like, in the moment, him pointing out a fact. Not dissing the team, him just saying, hey, it's a big opportunity for the Orioles to win a series, come out on top, because they've been bad down here in Tampa Bay. And they took him off the air.
So there's so much more to this that makes it bizarre. Like, as I was playing that clip, they've got the numbers on the screen. Okay, he didn't just pull this out of nowhere. All right.
Real.
So you had someone creating a graphic for it. You had now, and you know this, you get a press pack before the games. It's got all the stats and the little things that, you know, nuance that people don't pick up, so you can add some depth to the broadcast. So someone had to write that for him. He might have known that offhand. It's certainly possible. He's a professional, but still, like, there were a handful of people involved in just that 1 minute.
Nothing about that screams wrong. I would have done the exact same thing. Setting up your team, trying to win a series, how challenging it's been because Tampa Bay has been really good while Baltimore has been really bad over the years. And now they're changing the tide this season. And remember, the Rays were the team that Jeff Smith could not stop talking about early in the season. They're not in first place anymore. That's how good Baltimore has been. That's how awesome the year the Orioles have had. So highlighting the fact that Baltimore is overcoming the struggles is absolutely the same exact thing I would have done to start that broadcast. Now the Orioles, they're disputing that, saying that Brown was suspended, adding that, quote, "We do not comment on personal matters, and we look forward to hearing Kevin's voice soon." That was a statement that they gave to Awful Announcing. But this isn't one where something else happened, and this is just a weird coincidence that people are putting together because other major league broadcasters are speaking out. And if Brown would have been suspended, through the grapevine, that the other MLB announcers would have heard about it. Like, they know that story out there. But they are shredding the Baltimore Orioles for the most ridiculous suspension we have ever seen in sports broadcasting. It wasn't a slip of the tongue. It wasn't accidentally cursing. It was stating fact of how Baltimore has not won games or series in Tampa Bay in a long time. So then you get to the Mets broadcast. Gary Cohen said, quote, "Let me just say one thing to Baltimore Orioles management. You draped yourself in humiliation when you fired John Miller, and you're doing it again. And if you don't want Kevin Brown, there are 29 other teams who do."
So this isn't the first time it's happened in Baltimore, too. So do you remember John Miller?
Yeah.
So he got fired for not being a big enough fan, and there's a lot of ways to approach broadcasting, and some take more of a fan approach. But on the East Coast, it's not really that way as much. So they fired him in 97. They're doing this right now. There is apparently another story out there. I guess one of the hosts, so they rotate between television and radio. One of the hosts wouldn't wear the exact, they have these big Nike logo shirts. They were, so this person didn't want to wear it or wore a different version. So that's going to be coming up here. You're probably going to hear it by the end of the day. So these are some really weird things that they are doing, and they're having a great season in the process. It's so bizarre that they would attack their own when they're actually, playing well. So I don't know.
Be highlighting the Orioles. Like, that's a positive. Like, I would be excited if I heard that stat of, they're turning things around. This was a place they weren't winning, and they are winning this season. That highlights how good Baltimore is doing. That doesn't put a damper on the season. That's not speaking bad about the team. The record is what it is. You can't hide that. And someone has a weird insecurity in management in Baltimore to be suspending a dude. And that's what happened because everyone is reacting to it. Nesson's broadcast, Dave O'Brien, the Boston Red Sox announcer said, quote, "That's a fiasco that's allowed to happen." And I think every announcer in the league feels the same way. That's a joke. And I hope he's reinstated immediately. Like, it went on and on. You had Angels guys talking about it, John Benetti on the White Sox talking about it. Like, they would not be addressing it if they knew that, something else happened behind the scenes. Dude's going to be away for a little bit. They're calling out what a joke that is when you should be, and some of that does show you that there are franchises that can't get out of their own way. That it's not as just simple as coach, players get better. Sometimes there are just franchises that don't know how to handle success. And Baltimore is looking like that because they have some of the best young players in the game. They have prospects that are still coming up through that system. And this is just wild. It's Daniel Snyder in Washington, never get out of your own way. And Baltimore the Orioles are proven to be one of those teams right now because, when I did the tease, I'm sure people are like, "Oh, what did this guy say? You remember what happened to that A's broadcaster this year? Oh, man." And then you play that clip and you're like,
"Yeah, is this a
what?
joke? Where's the harm here?" It's funny, too, for a team that hasn't won anything in 40 years to make such a big deal out of something so small. It seems almost petty. I can't wrap my mind around why they would have done that in the middle of a run.
It's wild. And he hasn't been on there since July 23rd.
That is amazing. I mean, what a weird way to derail a great season, because that's what it feels like. There's like no more positive vibes for the Orioles at the moment.
Like that's what you want to focus on. That's what we're talking about. And when everyone throughout the league is reacting to it, the Orioles can't spin it like, "Oh, we're not commenting on personal matters. We're excited to have him back on the air," because they would not be shredding you if they knew that there was actually something else going on.
I mean, isn't saying you're excited to have him back on the air kind of a comment? Just saying.
So Kevin Brown, the Orioles broadcast. We look forward to listening to your calls again on the Orioles because their season's been fantastic and the management just get out the way, man. There's no reason for that, and it's wild in this day and age when there's so much going on and you're picking apart everything and you know what to say, what not to say in front of a microphone. That is one of those things you're like, wait, that became an issue? That was just wild. That blew my mind when I saw that because I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, if I were to do that in my career, like that's exactly how I would have set up that broadcast.
It was a good setup. I'm honestly, he's going through all the stats.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, he's delivering very consistently. I can't. I don't see it. I don't get it.
Like you're setting up Lobos game. Oh, Lobos haven't won on the road in 7 years. They have an opportunity. And
watch
like,
out.
actually, we're going to suspend you for that because that was not too flattering.
Yeah, sorry, JJ. Gonna have to sit you down for a couple weeks.
No, the fact is the team hasn't won, but you can't tell anyone the team hasn't won.
Keep this a secret. We haven't won in a while, but you cannot. Whatever you do, just don't tell anyone.
Don't say it out loud.
That's crazy, man.
Wow.
That's crazy.
505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animal Hotline. Also, the Sports Animal text line. Would you get excited if your star tackle compared the team starting quarterback to a young Kirk Cousins? It's next here on the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Play your iTunes App Store. Just search KNML.
How many out there would get excited? Your star offensive lineman was comparing your young quarterback to a young Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has become like you don't want to be Kirk Cousins. You don't want that in the NFL.
I don't know. He's getting popular now with the quarterback show.
He wins games.
He wins games. He's a good
Puts you in position.
He's not.
You can do worse than Kirk Cousins, but you can always do better. That's what the Kirk Cousins, like the mantra means, like average quarterback. All right, he's there, but you can always do better. You know, that girl over there is much hotter than the one you have right here. You can do better than Kirk Cousins. What are you doing? Well, what if I told you one of the most talented teams in the NFL, the veteran player likes what he sees out there on quarterback and compares him to a Kirk Cousins. This is the opening drive. JJ Buck DC with you here on The Sports Animal. Of course, you're home for the NFL. If you're listening to the NFL, Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, it is right here on The Sports Animal. Well, Trent Williams said the way that Brock Purdy anticipates throws and hangs in the pocket reminds him of a young Kirk Cousins. Of course, Trent Williams played with Kirk Cousins in Washington. He also said that Purdy has some of Cousins' seriousness when it comes to the purpose of playing the quarterback position. Those are not bad traits to have. And what we're seeing develop from Mike Shannon, what we're seeing Mike McDaniel do in Miami is make good quarterback play look great with the investment in the skill position players. And this is best case scenario really for NFL franchise, but specifically the 49ers because of how talented they are. And so that's the money you can pour in to Deebo Samuel and actually pay a running back like Christian McCaffrey. They see value in that, in the rushing and passing game. And Mr. Irrelevant on that rookie quarterback for a few more years. He's winning over the veteran guys on that team. They saw what he did. They see what he's doing in practice. And at this point in time, you have to trust that Brock Purdy's going to be a dude that wins games in the NFL. And if Brock Purdy is Kirk Cousins-like, and if you look at Kirk Cousins, the numbers are there. He made Justin Jefferson very efficient. He gets the ball where it needs to go downfield. But then you place that on a team that 49ers, the top 3 defensive unit in the NFL, the skill position players I just mentioned, that is a great place to be if you're San Francisco. If Mr. Irrelevant turns into Kirk Cousins, then this team can indeed win the NFC.
Totally. And as you were saying that, I thought to myself, what would they look like if Kirk Cousins was actually on that squad? Everyone would be picking them. You know, it's easy to make fun of the guy because he's Mr. Rogers or whatever, but I am telling you, he can play ball. Do you remember when he came back with the Commanders and RG3 got hurt and he goes and wins them a playoff game?
You like that?
Yeah, you like that. Of course you do. You won a playoff game. So I don't know, like that 49ers would be scary with Cousins. So if Purdy is following that mold, hey, that doesn't seem like a bad thing to me.
They believe in him, and that's your star tackle. You know, that's Trent Williams. That's the veteran on the offense, the offensive line.
Yeah, that voice.
He's not selling you false bill of goods.
No, he's not. He's telling you like it is. So you should definitely listen when he speaks. And if he's saying Purdy's the real deal, I believe it.
And I think we trust in that system so much. It's like, oh, Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, whatever. But no, this team believes in Brock Purdy. They did not overreact. You know, they could have saw the Brock Purdy injury, the elbow, the uncertain timetable, and they could have went after. You know, they could have been in a Derek Carr sweepstakes. They could have thrown their hat to Aaron Rodgers and said, hey, we need a veteran guy right now to push this team over the top. And they didn't do that.
No, they didn't. And they weren't, there was no point where they were even really in that conversation.
Not at all.
Being that solid on a guy that had 8 games.
Their thing was like, we're going to bring in Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They're bringing up a backup to Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, that shows a lot of faith in that guy. So, and Mike, oh my goodness. The Shanahans, Kyle, I'm from Denver. What can I say? But yeah, so Kyle knows his way around a quarterback. So if he believes in him, I do too. I really do.
Yeah, so that is a situation where if you're still uncertain saying San Francisco's winning without a quarterback, no, they believe they have their quarterback.
They do. They totally do. The real question for me is, what do they do with Trey Lance then?
So they're going to showcase him as much as possible.
Yeah, try and get some value. Because right now, yeah, there's no value in Trey Lance. Like, what are you really getting for Trey Lance?
He would be your emergency quarterback.
Yeah.
You keep him around. You don't just want to. I could also seem to not want to absolutely cut ties with him, because I think there's a way that Kyle Shanahan would absolutely get him on the field in some packages, just because what they do on offense.
For what they gave up to get him, you'd think they'd try to incorporate him. But if Purdy comes out and then
you don't need to take your quarterback out the field just to take him off the field.
Right, just to build some value. But I could see a situation with Trey Lance, if things go well in the beginning, he's the kind of guy who's going to be out there at the trade deadline.
This is where the preseason, it's backups versus backups, but you have to look good. It's why a Hall of Fame game out of nowhere, 6.3 million people are watching, and they're like, you know what? This Dorian Thompson-Robinson kid, all right.
Yeah.
He can play some football.
He can. And that's when guys are playing for their jobs and for their careers and to make a mark in the league, it's really interesting. Just because like the big name guys aren't making big plays doesn't mean it's bad football. It's a different kind of football, but it's very watchable and can be really enlightening. Because like you said, we might have seen a quarterback that right now, he's a backup, but maybe 2-3 years he's a starter, really impacting the league.
So the value of Trey Lance, if he plays well in the preseason, I think that earns him a spot on that roster, as now you can keep an emergency quarterback, a QB3 out there because of what San Francisco went through in the playoffs last season. But also, does someone get antsy and say, hey, we'll take that chance and try to take that next step with him as our backup quarterback? Because it also does sound like Kyle Shanahan really likes Sam Darnold, because he's that mold. It's that pocket passer, manage the game, be accurate. That's what these offenses focus on, because they overinvest in the skill position players. So they make good look great in a Kyle Shanahan offense. 505-246-0610, the Sports Animal hotline and text line. And we did learn this morning that, DC hasn't been to the pit, but he has it circled that December 2nd, Lobos Aggies is going to be his first ever pit game, as they officially announced those 2 games on the Lobo men's basketball schedule. December 2nd here in Albuquerque, Friday, December 15th in Las Cruces. And we have on the text line, the best thing about the rivalry, DC, will be the emails we receive from an Aggie fan, specifically Jason. Jason is a great emailer, Hall of Fame emailer, Aggie fan that does craft some nice letters to the show.
Yeah, I've heard them.
During Aggie season.
I encourage all of you, email, text, get me fired up. Sell me on this thing, because it's on the calendar. I will be there. Tell me who to root for and why.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Who to root for and why. That you're going to get a lot of opinions on that one. I had this one. What are your thoughts on the Pac-10 realignment pertaining to women's college basketball? Those teams join the Mountain West Conference. Can it be dangerous? That's Ronnie. I always appreciate Ronnie. I'm always a fan of women's basketball team. I think for hoops, the Mountain West, both on the men's and women's side, they're in a good position because nothing changed. You keep your good teams. San Diego State still in the league. We know the men's team here is building. And when it comes to women's basketball, UNLV has been the team that's won the conference the last 2 years. I think with what Mike Bradbury and his staff were able to do this year in their transfer portal, they got a true center in. The Lobos should be competing for a Mountain West title, both men and women basketball. That should be a regular expectation at this university. But I think if you add in an Oregon State or Washington State, I think it's just more of the same. It's more about just having the numbers. Right now, we know that's immediately not going to give the Mountain West a huge TV deal. They're not, even if they dissolve, which they've talked about, and just take on the Pac-12 banner, that doesn't mean they get the automatic bid to the college football playoff, but there's ways to just continue to move forward and have stability. And that's what we're seeing in the Mountain West Conference. Got this one from Terry. He said, glad the O's management is not in charge of you guys talking about Lobo football. Yeah, there might not like some of those conversations, but hey, practice is ongoing. I'm going to get out there this week. I haven't had the time. So tomorrow morning after the show, I'm going to get out to Lobo football practice, and Lobo women's soccer has an exhibition game 11 a.m. against UTEP. That season starts tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, are they even back in class?
Yeah, they're back on campus.
Wow.
I don't know if class has started, but I know practice has started. The Lobo women's soccer team, their regular season opener, they host Texas Tech August 17th. So it's the season, man. We're here.
We are here. Wow.
All sports is upon us.
Yeah, that crept up real quick.
So,
I can't believe we're talking about actual games this week.
Games.
Yeah, good.
The next exhibition game for the Lobo women's soccer team tomorrow, but I'm going to get out to football practice too because I'm excited to see. I think bringing in Dylan Hopkins, who's worked with Bryant Vincent, is huge because he knows the offense, he knows that system, and that's what we're talking about: is quarterbacks being able to manage what's in front of them. My thing, and I'm going to try to talk to some of the receivers tomorrow, is the regrouped wide receiving group. You got the transfers coming in. TCU. Caleb Medford, though, he was the hot name. He's actually been beat out so far. The TCU transfer, he's kind of down to wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 on the depth chart. And that's the position. Because I think Dylan Hopkins, his track record playing in that offense, you're going to get stable quarterback play. But do they have the playmakers on the Lobos offense to make a difference? And if you're looking at some of the biggest question marks going into the season, we know it's the health of the quarterback. It's quarterback staying healthy, so you don't run into that situation where you're down to QB3 or QB4. But I think they got that. It's do they have the playmakers? Want to thank Jeff Grammer, the Albuquerque Journal, for joining us this morning. If you missed any of our conversation with Jeff Grammer or Jay Norvell, which was a fantastic one, the head coach of the Colorado State Rams, those are up on our podcast page. Search The Opening Drive. You can listen back to our interviews, the show, whatever you missed. DC, appreciate you as always, man. Fantastic work. Adrian at ProView, thank you. Putting us on the air as well. We got 2 men on at 4. The boys will take you up to Isotopes Baseball. They are at Round Rock tonight, but we got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Colin Cowherd at 1. Back with you tomorrow at 7 a.m. Everybody, Metal peace and love. Have a great day.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.